Other questions?
Yes, for Street 5s in the Metropole Tenant Association, we sent your office a petition about 3.5 months ago about 3CDC model group disbanding the low-income housing in Cincinnati, Metropole in particular. We have not heard anything back from your office in, like I said, about 3.5, 4 months. And, you know, you're talking about saving low-income housing when you're allowed to be disbanded in Cincinnati. I mean, why aren't you protecting us?
So, two things I would say. First of all, we are reviewing that application as we speak, looking at the concerns that you've raised. So we haven't made a decision yet. That's why we haven't gotten back to you with a decision. But let me be absolutely clear. Our number one priority there is to preserve affordable housing. And whatever our final decision is, we will ensure that there are more units of affordable housing available in Cincinnati as a result of the Recovery Act and also other decisions that we're making specifically on Metropole than there are today. So we're going to ensure that we don't lose affordable housing. We're going to ensure that we actually preserve it and increase it. Exactly how we do that is what we're looking at today. Would be happy to sit down with you. Spoke to my local office this morning about this issue, and we're going to continue to try to find a way to preserve affordable housing however that we can.
You know, 3CDC is moving people out of there as we speak with no HUD relocation plan, or no approved HUD relocation plan. I mean, why don't you put a stop to them till you figure it out?
As I said, we are looking at that plan today, and we will make a decision and work with you to ensure that we preserve affordable housing going forward.
Do you have a timeline, Mr. Secretary, on that issue? A timeline for a decision on that?
I don't have a final date that I can give you where we'll make a decision, but it is something we're looking actively on. As I said, I met with our office director here this morning with Jim about it to talk about it. I think we will have a decision shortly. Any other questions? Yep.
The Metropole dilemma is not simply about the possible loss of affordable housing. It's also, we filed a fair housing complaint. Our local fair housing officers tell us that if Metropole tenants are removed from the downtown, a district that has had a status of being diverse for 30+ years could lose that diversity. It is a sense of cleansing the downtown. So it is more than just making sure the units are dispersed about. We want to keep fair housing. How do you respond to that? Should we have diversity in the central business district of Cincinnati?
What I would say is not only have we strengthened enforcement of fair housing, we had in our 2010 budget, thanks to Congress, the largest increase in fair housing funding in HUD's history for our enforcement side. But I also believe strongly that part of our role is what I would describe as affirmatively furthering fair housing, to actually ensure that we're encouraging diverse neighborhoods, diverse communities, and that's absolutely, whether you look at choice neighborhoods or a range of other proposals that we have in our 2010 budget approved by Congress, we have a range of ways that we're trying to do exactly that. And so I fully support the idea that HUD needs to ensure all of the programs that we have, all of the work that we're doing, encourages it, fair housing in a true sense of that word. Thank you all very much.
With the Metropole tenants and those who filed the fair housing complaint, how long are you going to be in town? Can we set that meeting up even today, tomorrow?
We won't be able to do it today. What I said is I'm happy to have you sit down with our folks here and talk this through and try to figure out if there's some alternative ways to deal with it. I mean, we have the same interest here. I want to preserve housing. Right. There are limitations to, you know, with privately owned property, what we can tell people they can do and can't do. We can't.
Well, certain rules have been sort of avoided during this whole process. Well, that's when the complaint comes in handy, and that's if fair housing law has been broken here in the process. That's what your office is responsible for.
I'm Raquel Howard. I'm the one who filed the HUD complaint.
Yep.
And the reason why we filed it is because we know we're dealing with a private company, and the Fair Housing Act does apply to, you know, private entities. All we want is to bring awareness to it, and for Model Group not to be able to come in because of their reputation and what they're doing in other parts of the city and actually disband this contract, which is going to make near zero amount of low-income housing in this area. It's segregation, downright, plain and simple. So
We're looking at it. Thanks.